Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox. I would like to welcome you to the Sunday Book Review. The Sunday Book Review is the series where I discuss books which impact the compliance practitioner, the legal professional, and the business professional. I hope you will enjoy this episode. The Sunday Book Review is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network. The Sunday Book Review for September 10, 2023, the business books to read in September edition. First up, The Perennials by Mario Guillen. Just because you're in your late teens, do you have to wait years to run a big company? Well, for more than a century, people studied, then worked, then retired. This sequential model of life was never naturally preordained, writes the author. It only began after universal schooling. The author paints a picture of the benefits of a shift to an ever-blooming group of people of all ages, types, and stripes, defined by their activities and interests, not simply their age. That has certainly been my experience, that you can step out and enjoy lifelong learning, and you can also create something when you're quite young. Next up, The Risk of Prediction, Algorithms, AI, and the Shifting Shadows of Risk by Igor Tulchinsky and Christopher Mason. If readers need convincing of the significance of predictions to today's world, the opening chapter will leave few in doubt. The authors lay out its role in the pandemic, from lives lost as a result of the failure to predict COVID-19, and the role of algorithms in creating vaccines, to the rally of the stock market as financial models recovered from this initial shock. The message is clear. Predictive algorithms have changed the world and all the world to come, and there is no going back. The authors take a deep dive into the way algorithms are doing so, from the development of autonomous robots, large language and numerical models, prediction of voter patterns, and improved cancer treatments. This book is about the unprecedented power of prediction, but concludes by highlighting the unknowns and captures the paradox of our time. Next up, How Trust Works, the science of how relationships are built, broken, and repaired by Peter Kim. Regardless of who you are or where you were born, we know what it means to have our trust broken, or perhaps the embarrassment of having our trustworthiness called into question. We are all vulnerable. Here, the author combines research and real-life lessons explaining the nuances of trust and its characteristics. It's an interesting concept of giving importance to the elements of trust. We have never been more in need of a conversation around trust, and rigorous scientific research on this can help bring some clarity. Our final book is The Confidence Map, Charting a Path from Chaos to Clarity by Peter Atwater. I can't really think of a book that is more timely, and the author started out as a finance and now has moved to business writing. He suggests a better approach to supplement specific detailed plans of crises and having a broader input and output ready for the opportunities that may arise from crises. So check out one or more of these books. We've linked to the entire article in the show notes. As always, the FT does a great job of talking about current business books. Have a great weekend. Into the Compliance Podcast Network, it's Two Gurus Talk Compliance, where, with my friend and colleague Christy Grant Hart, we take a look at some of the top compliance commentary around. It's a long-form, up to 1 hour podcast, but if you're interested in compliance, if you're interested in Christy Grant Hart and myself talking about compliance, this would be a great podcast for you to check in on. It premiered on March 10th on the Compliance Podcast Network. I know you'll enjoy this latest offering. Additionally, we have Data-Driven Compliance, which is a podcast where I look at the use of data in compliance programs. This is perhaps the most cutting-edge podcast I have going right now. And if you're interested in how data can be used, how to structure a data analytics program, what tools are available out there for you, and how compliance practitioners are using data, this is certainly the podcast for you. So check out Data-Driven Compliance, all on the Compliance Podcast Network. The Sunday Book Review is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.